Oh, the water is good. We've got hot potatoes. We are diving into this topic. I have not said a word about the SiG thing, the debacle, the PR, nothing. Well, we're about to, because what I've been waiting on to bring part of the conversation to the table just occurred. Some new information is now out. We're going to break it down right now. Make sure you send this one out. You hit that like button. You subscribe to the channel. You can poke YouTube censorship algorithm guy in the eye right there with salt on your finger just by hitting subscribe and liking and commenting and being involved in this amazing experiment for freedom. So make sure you guys do that. All right, listen. I'm going to show you the new arrest that came out last night, which I don't know if everyone's going to cover, but I'm going to be objectively honest and cover it for you because it has pretty big implications. All right, so now here's my disclaimer. You ready for it? Everybody out there? If you were expecting me to be about to destroy SiG, the P320, or anything of that nature, this ain't the video for you. I'm not going to do that. If you are tuning in to say, oh, there's a new SiG Defender on the side of the YouTube space, you'll also be disappointed because I'm not going to do that either. What I'm going to do is stand from my position of unaffiliated completely and point out some things that I think need to be part of the conversation. You make up your own mind, leave comments, let me know what you guys think, because this development, this is significant in light of everything that we've been talking about and seeing on the interwebs recently. All right, make sure you follow me at Braden LOA. Let's dive in. We've just passed 24,000 because of you guys, and thank you for that. All right, listen. Here's the actual post that I got sent last night. I met goals. Obviously, I'm out of my office, but I wanted to cover this. Air Force announces first arrest related to the firearm death of airmen that prompted the M18 probe. All right, if you're living under a rock in the gun world, the M18 death, or the probe that was initiated after an airman died from an accusation of a firearm going off in a holster, that's what we're talking about right here. This is the SiG P320 military style. Okay, that's this whole thing. And here's where I'm going to offer a little bit of unsolicited advice across the board for anybody who would listen. There are so many pieces to this, almost infinite, that you're never going to know for sure until more information hits the table, more court cases are decided, until more evidence is presented, and the obvious outcome is very easily observable. That's never going to happen until all of this concludes. And that's the reason that I haven't dove into this. I'm not going to go out there and say SiG P320 did this thing. I'm not going to say SiG did this thing. I'm only going to live in the absolutely what I know. And what I know is a bit of a criticism on SiG. The PR handling of this has been pretty bad. That's an objective fact. I feel comfortable going out with an objective fact. But this right here throws water on the narrative that was established very quickly, and the internet took off with it. Again, this is an important topic, but I would urge caution and reserve decision, or I would reserve conclusion of your thoughts on it until you see all the pieces. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying go buy something or not buy something objectively. All right, let's dive into this. I want to open this for you guys and show you this article. So as this comes down, here's this from military.com. It'll be linked in the description box below. Air Force announces arrest related to firearm death of airmen that prompted the M18 probe, which again was the prompting of all the videos you saw on the internet. Okay? A person has been arrested in connection to the death of a security forces airman after a firearm discharge at the Warren Air Force Base last month that led to service-wide scrutiny of the SiG Sauer M18 handgun, again, the military version of the P320. This is the part that I want to show you that's so crucial, okay? That's just saying that it happened. We know that. Basically the investigation. Okay, this part right here, this is a very key point. Listen to what this says. Quote, since then, the investigation has progressed, again, with waiting on the investigation, and an individual has now been arrested on suspicion of making a false official statement, obstruction of justice, and involuntary manslaughter. All right, that was an Air Force spokesman said. All right, listen. If you've arrested people and the charges are, where'd it go? There it is. Making a false official statement, okay? We can all imagine what that could be, potentially. Again, potentially. Obstruction of justice. Okay, that lines up with the false official statement. And involuntary manslaughter. Well, that implies that there were more than one persons there, and that implies that an accident could have been involved, because involuntary manslaughter is not something that you would apply to something sitting on a table and it magically going off and killing someone. Again, I'm not on Team SiG on this, and I'm not on Team SiG on this. I'm objective observer in this. But when you look at those individual pieces, that points in a different direction. And as a side note, I would be very curious to everyone who offered an opinion. Again, this is overall observation. Everyone who offered an opinion in the affirmative and an absolute conclusion, if they do not cover this as this story develops, and you don't hear them follow up on something like this, which is a very important piece of the story, I would question why. And again, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not throwing shade at anybody. But this is a very important piece of this story. This is also why I did not cover it until right now, because I was waiting on more and more information. I'm never going to... Let me rephrase that. I have learned through experience that jumping to a conclusion in a position that involves so many different pieces can be detrimental potentially. All right. This is from soldiersystems.net. This is something else that's up there. All right. United States Air Force characterizes fatality at the Warren as involuntary manslaughter, not faulty M18, and arrest the perpetrator. Now, that's an article that's openly saying, nope, this wasn't the gun. This was a guy. And again, I'm going to wait for a lot of data to come out. But that right there is pretty important. All right, listen to what they said here. Air Force authorities are conducting a comprehensive investigation into the facts and circumstances of the fatal firearm discharge at F.E. Warren Air Force Base on 20 July 2025 that involved an M18 pistol. Out of an abundance of caution and based on initial reporting, Air Force authorities ordered various safety precautions involving the M18 after this tragic event, which was the right move. Absolutely right move. There was a question that something malfunctioned. Do a thorough investigation. Everyone wait for the investigation to come out, and then the chips will fall where they may. But what's happened right now is there's going to be a lot of people, again, not targeting anybody, but there's going to be objectively a lot of people who are going to have to do a follow-up video that says more information has come out that says they are now treating this as involuntary manslaughter, not a manufacturer function failure. That's the responsible thing to do on this, because we saw the internet light ablaze. It should see the exact same lighting ablaze from this, because the next step in information, and it speaks to the instance that we're talking about. Now, you can tag whatever creator you want, you can tag whoever did a video you want, but I want to see this be part of the public conversation as well, because this is an important piece. All right, let's keep on going. Let me look at this really quickly. Again, just to show you that this is a confirmation of the same things with the other source. I always bring sources. Since then, the investigation has progressed and an individual has now been arrested on suspicion of making a false official statement, obstruction of justice, and involuntary manslaughter. Guys, this is going to develop a lot further, and I think the narrative that was established pretty early on the internet is about to shift. And I really hope that everyone who made very, very affirmative statements in the absolutely this is the outcome is paying attention and does something around this, because this has the potential for bad things to occur in the future. Anyway, that's why I'm doing this video. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you see what I'm kind of coming at from this one. And let's make sure that we spread this one out everywhere. I'll see you on the stage at Goals. I'm Braden. Later.